Hello, everyone. We're going to just wait 2 more minutes and we'll start at 5:30. Hey, Gigi, for whatever reason, my chat box is not working. Like I can't see it. Can you monitor the chat for me and just pipe up if anyone puts anything in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Hey, everyone, welcome in. We'll get started in just a second. Okay, it is now 5:30, so we'll go ahead and get started. Just so everyone knows, for whatever reason, Zoom will not let me open my chat box at the moment. So if you have any questions, either just pipe up and just interrupt me. I don't care. Or put it in the chat box and Gigi will stop me and read it out. So yeah. But anywho, everyone, welcome to our November 2nd meeting. So the agenda for today, we're going over 2 PA schools, Emory and Lock Haven. And the specialties we're going to go over are sports medicine and psychiatry. And then for PCE, we will go over scribing. Yeah. So first we have some updates. So as many of y'all know, we had a social scheduled in October, but due to events on campus, we had to postpone that. So it has been moved to November 30th. There will still be in-person and virtual options. You can attend either way. I will provide more information on the in-person portion and the Zoom link as the date gets closer. Food will be provided at the meeting. This will take place of our December meeting as well, because the first Wednesday of December is Dead Day Eve. So I figure if y'all want to go out, or just studying for finals and whatnot. So we decided to do it end of November instead. And then also we are currently working on a percentage event at Scented Leaf. I don't have specific details on that, but I did want to let y'all know to keep an eye out for an email from me once I have all of that information to share with y'all. Gigi, is there any questions in the chat?
No, not right now.
Okay, cool. So first school that we're going to go over is Emory. It is based in Atlanta, Georgia. It's a 28-month program, which is about average. I've been seeing a lot more like 33 months or so. So it's a little on the shorter end. The average cost, and this is for the entire program, not per year, is $126,500 estimated. They do have a 2.4% acceptance rate. And if any of y'all are hearing that and going, oh shit, I get it. Just know PA school is very competitive and you're not going to find an acceptance rate much higher than that, unfortunately. And they require a minimum GPA of a 3.0. I'm not sure about Emory, but I know some schools, they will give a little on the minimum GPA requirement if you don't quite meet it. You just have to meet their science GPA, because usually they'll have a minimum science GPA requirement and then like overall. So if you're interested in Emory but you don't quite meet that, still take a look into it. They also require 3 letters of rec, 1 from a healthcare professional that you've worked for. There's no testing required for Emory. This is brand new. I think they just got rid of the GRE requirement in the last couple months. They do require 2,000 hours of patient care experience, which, to put that in perspective, is about 1 year working full time. But they do accept volunteer hours for that. So, if you're volunteering at the first aid tent at a bike race or something like that, that would count. They do accept online courses at Emory. And then the courses that they require are 2 semesters of general chemistry with lab. They also require 1 semester of organic chemistry or biochemistry, no labs. 1 semester of biology with lab. They require the full year of anatomy and physiology and 1 semester of statistics. They do recommend that you take microbiology and genetics. Generally, when schools say that they recommend you take that course, priority will be given to the applicants who have those courses, but your application will still be looked at even if you don't have those, as long as you meet the actual requirements. Does anybody have any questions on Emory? If so, just pipe up. I'm going to take that as a no.
There's none in the chat. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, too many. Okay. The next one we're going to go over is Lock Haven University. It is located conveniently in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. This one is a shorter program. It's a 24-month program. And it's also a little bit cheaper. It's $84,000, which is honestly on the cheaper side for PA schools. They also require a minimum 3.0 general GPA. Other requirements, they have 3 letters of recommendation, but they do not specify who any of those rec letters have to be from. They do require the GRE. And I want to make a note about the GRE. In the slides and in the presentations, I don't usually go into the specifics of testing, but especially with the GRE, if a school does require it, they might have like a specific score minimum that you have to get on it in order for that to count for them. So if you are planning to attend a school that requires GRE, MCAT, PACAT, look at their website and figure out what score you need in order to be eligible to apply there. I don't put those on the slides just because it can get very confusing, but do make sure you look into that. Required courses, they do require a grade of B or higher. Most times you'll see a grade of C for schools, but this Lock Haven is a little more strict about it. 2 general chemistry courses, 2 biology or zoology courses, 2 courses for anatomy and physio, so that would be the full year. 1 course in human genetics, 1 course in microbiology, and 1 course in statistics. You notice I did not say labs with any of that. That's because Lock Haven only recommends that you take labs. They do not require it. They also recommend you take organic chemistry, biochemistry, developmental psychology, and physics. Again, it looks really good if you have those courses. Your application is more likely to be given priority to get to the interview stage if you have those courses compared to someone who doesn't have them. But that's like if you're on the same playing field for PCE, extracurriculars, leadership, everything else. Quite frankly, grades and like courses is one of like the least looked at parts of the application. They more want to see your experience and what your values are and why you want to be a PA. Any questions about that? Okay. So sports medicine is the first specialty that we're going to
There's
go over.
a question in the chat real quick.
Yes.
The question says, if you're taking a gap year and planning to work during that gap year, do you have to submit all of your hours before you can apply, or can you edit?
Yes. Nope. So CASPA, the way it works with CASPA is you fill it out, everything on there, you input your hours, and then they review, like CASPA reviews your application and they send it off to the school. Once it gets sent off to the school, it's really hard to edit. And if you look at specific schools, they will state on their website, but I'd say 90% of them will only count the hours from the time that you applied, which is where it gets really tricky in trying to decide when to apply, because most PA programs do rolling admissions. So you want to be earlier because there's more spots available, but you also want to wait a little bit to get more hours. It's a game. It really is. So to answer your question, most likely no. They only allow you to submit hours from the point that your application has been submitted to them. So you do have to reach that minimum by the time that you send in your application. Some schools might make exceptions for that, but that's on a case-by-case basis. So,
Yeah, that was my question, by the way. Do you know if, like, say you're working a certain amount of hours and, like, oh, I've worked this many hours per week, like every week, and you're gonna be working for the next year. Can you like when you submit it, could you project like how many you're gonna have by the time you get in, or do they like not recommend that?
So I would not recommend putting that in your reported hours. I don't know on CASPA if there is like a section where you can put by like date of matriculation. So by like the date that you would start their PA program, this is how many hours I'm expecting to have. I don't know for sure if that's a category on CASPA, but I do know that for the hours that you report, you have to have completed them by that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else have any other questions? Okay, feel free to stop me if you do. Okay, so sports med, average pay in the United States is about 115,000. So it is on the higher end for salary for PAs. What they do, sports med PAs, it's kind of what you would think of as like a sports med physician, very similar, helping athletes recover and prevent injury, examining patients, ordering tests or x-rays. They do make medical diagnoses and prescribe medication. Sports med PAs are non-operative, meaning that if you become a sports med PA, you will not be doing any complex procedures. With that said, there are some micro-invasive procedures that sports med PAs do perform. I cannot think of any examples off the top of my head, but that's pretty rare that would happen. Some pros that sports med PAs have said about working in that career, they say it's very satisfying, like seeing their patients return to their sports. You have really good projected career growth and diverse duties. As a sports med PA, you can work in a sports clinic, or you can work for like a professional athlete individually. So there's a lot of different ways you can take that. And then cons, it can be a high pressure environment, especially if you're working for a pro athlete. And you could have unusual hours. Again, that's more with working with pro athletes. Yeah, that's it for sports med. The second one is psychiatry. The average pay for psychiatry is 104,000, and that's for the entire US. In that specialty, PAs treat patients with mental disorders, which can include but is not limited to depression, anxiety, insomnia, PTSD, bipolar disorder, split personality, that kind of stuff. Some pros, some PAs have said it's very interesting. They never know what they're going to walk into. It's generally a more casual environment. It's not one of the specialties where you're expected to wear a lab coat and, like dress shoes and that kind of stuff to work. It's also low tech, so no like procedures really you would be performing. It's more just prescribing medications. And then some cons, working with mental illness can be really hard for like PA's mental health, especially if they're working with difficult patients. And if you work in the psychiatry field, you need to realize that you can't cure everybody. You can just do the best that you can do. And that can be hard for some people. Yeah. Okay,
Real quick,
scribe.
Claire,
Yes.
there's a question in the chat that says, are these slides going to be posted anywhere?
Yes. Every time we have a meeting, general or guest speaker, if the guest speaker brings slides, I send them to my tech chair, who posts them along with the recording on our website. And you can access that, I believe, through campus groups. And I also send out a little recap, but it won't have all the details of the schools and specialties and stuff on it. So, anything else? Okay. Medical scribing, the average salary in the United States for a medical scribe is about $32,000 a year. In Arizona, it's about $31,000, so slightly lower than the US average. That generally is the way it is for most PCEs, though. As a medical scribe, you follow a healthcare professional and document patient-provider interactions. If any of you guys have gone into your doctor's office and there's someone else sitting there like taking notes, that's usually the medical scribe. So they're transcribing important information such as the patient's history of illness and medical, current medications, exam findings, that kind of stuff. I did want to make one note about scribing. It is probably the most controversial form of patient care experience across PA schools. And the reason why is because it's a very hot debate right now of whether scribing, if you're scribing, you're actually getting to interact with the patient. On the one hand, you're just transcribing things that are being said between the patient and the physician, and you're not the one actually communicating with the physician. However, a lot of PA schools who do accept scribing have found that scribes tend to do the best during your didactic portions, which is like the classroom lectures, because they've had experience of listening to the patients reporting all these symptoms, and this is what the physician diagnoses them with, and these are the meds that they prescribe. So scribes tend to have the most exposure to that category of being a PA. So it's very controversial. I will tell you, I am planning to scribe once I graduate in the spring. But if you do, just make sure that you look at the schools you're wanting to apply to and double check that they do accept medical scribe as a form of PCE, because otherwise they won't look at your application because you technically have not met the PCE requirement for that school. Anyone have any questions on scribing? Okay. So just a couple of reminders and then we're done. Our next meeting is November 19th at 5:30 p.m. on Zoom. We will be having a guest speaker, so please make sure to try and attend that. Also, just as a reminder, our social is November 30th at 5:30 p.m. It will be hybrid. And as a reminder for that social, we're going to help you guys create your list of schools to apply to. It's generally recommended you have somewhere around 10 that you're looking at. So we'll help you make your spreadsheet so that you make sure you get all of your prereqs and stuff for it. And that is it. So thank you guys so much. I'll stick around for a second if anyone has any questions, but y'all are free to go.
Claire, I think the 19th is a Saturday.
Yeah, let me look at that.
I think it's the 16th, but I'm not completely sure.
It is the 16th. I'll make a note in that in the recap email.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. See ya.
Yeah.
Hey, Claire.
Hey.
Real quick, I just wanted to let you know for attendance, Manasa is here.
Okay.
She said that it's on iPhone 12.
Okay, sounds good. I'll let Katie know.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
See ya.